Hi everyone. So in today's video we're going to be taking a look at these items that I have in the anti-static wrap. Now you may be wondering what they are. Cast your mind back to several videos ago where I was trying to repair my Amstrad ALT386 and unfortunately I had to give up because the motherboard had been, a number of the tracks had been eaten away by the battery. Now this is actually replacement motherboard type parts. That is a replacement motherboard, and as you can probably tell I've actually pre-snipped the battery, so the battery would be here. I've taken the battery out, so the battery, which is this, would have been there, and I've snipped it away and left it without the battery for the moment. If this works, then I may come up with a solution which takes the battery actually off the board itself and into a separate module. Now, although I can kind of remember where a lot of this goes, it's going to be a bit of a voyage of discovery, actually working out where everything is supposed to go, because at the moment, I can locate it, everything is in a box at the minute. So let's get it out, and then we can see what we've got to deal with. So let's have a look in the box. Let's also have a look inside here, see what we need and see what can be put back into said box. So I've sensibly actually removed a lot of the inside of this, but I've actually kept a lot of it in place by the looks of it, which I didn't think I had. That's actually quite useful because I don't know where a lot of this actually goes, so it's going to be a case of working it out. I mean, where does this wire go? We will find out. This is the graphics card, and there are a number of points on the graphics card that we need to connect to. There's also this, which looks like a battery cable. In fact, you can actually see the connectors, what would have been on the battery. And there's the connector there. Now, technically I don't actually need that anymore, so what I'll do is cut this. So cut the cable ties here. There we go. And then that means I should be able to get that out. So cable tie cut here. There we go. There we are, and I should be able to remove that. So I haven't removed the hard drive, so that is still where it should be. This is speaker connector, which I think will go into there when we're ready. This is a hard drive power connector, so that will go into there. Not sure what that's for, we will find out. Other items we will need: keyboard and associated keyboard gubbins. Put that over there for the moment. Various blanking plates and shields. This, and this earthing wire, which will go somewhere in here. We will work out where that goes. Floppy drive. power supply. And various bracketry. We'll also need all the screws. So let's locate said screws and then we can get started with the reassembly process. So I actually did something a little bit short-sighted. I thought that this was it for this machine. When the motherboard could not be repaired, I thought, you know what, that is it for this system. I'm not going to be doing anything further with it. That's your lot. And I very stupidly put all of the screws and everything into one of my screw storage things, and consequently a lot of them have distributed within said storage compartments and disappeared. So I'm kind of having to reclaim a number of screws and hope that I've got enough from various other things that I've taken apart to be able to locate everything properly. It's not a problem, but it is a sign of my short-sightedness, unfortunately. I honestly thought it was, I honestly thought it was toast for this, and after a bit of casual sort of browsing on eBay, I discovered that somebody was selling the complete motherboard from a system where the hard drive had failed, and they had obviously decided not to go any further with it as it was. And yeah, the end result was that I ended up buying the boards, and we're here now. So that's the thing. In the future, I might put things away for 6 months. This was under 6 months, but put things away for 6 months. If you don't get any spares after searching for 6 months, then dispose of the screws, keep things for spares, all of that sort of stuff. Otherwise, hold fire and something might just turn up. So, let's have a look at what we have. So we've got our graphics card, which is going to sit here. That will be secured in. Now we have one of these bracket things here, which I think did go in here somewhere around this particular region. But let's get the motherboard in first, and then we can see where we are after that. So here's the motherboard. Because this is older equipment, I'm going to take basic anti-static precautions. I've got a radiator which is earthed down there, so do the bare minimum, touch that, make sure that I don't touch anything too much. And we'll start off by getting the new motherboard inserted into where it is going to live. And it's going to live there ultimately. But it needs to get through a hole at the back. Make sure any cables are out of the way. And there we go. Okay, so that is in place. Now we have riser board. I'm actually going to use the one that's supplied with everything. So there's the riser. Oops, sorry, there's the riser board there. Now this actually has two purposes. It has a 16-bit ISA slot, and it's also got the graphics card slot as well. So that is going to sit up here. and you can see where it goes into the motherboard. We'll take this out of the way for the moment, put that onto some anti-static, we'll plug this into the motherboard, and you can also see where this actually goes onto the motherboard. You've got holes in there which will be for screw holes, which will be useful at a later point. So that's in. We might actually be able to work out where this goes. I'm sure it was around here somewhere. It might actually be this way. Yeah, that might actually go in here. Again, not 100% certain. I'm going to leave it for a bit and put everything together first. So now with the graphics card, I'm going to come in and plug into the riser board. Right, graphics card is in. There we go. Now, next challenge is working out where all these cables go from the screen. So, as you can see, there are a number of connectors on the graphics card board itself. I've also got this is for the power supply, so that actually comes off the motherboard on, I think, this side, so that's the longer one goes here. Shorter one goes onto the power supply itself. Need to work out which way it goes in. Part of the problem is all of this is colour coded as such that you've got blue for everything and just one single orange wire. Looking at this, which is the speaker, and looking at this one, which is the hard drive, orange is cable number 1 and the blue are the other cables. So that means orange, pin number 1 is there. So I need to rotate this so that pin number 1 is where we plug into. So that means the other way round. When it's this way round, it makes more sense because that goes in perfectly. So there we go, there's one of our power connectors for the motherboard. Also got this long cable here as well. So this one looks like it comes probably off of the motherboard or not. No, that's not off the motherboard. I thought that this one, actually, hold on, no, that's a 4 pin. Yeah, I think it might be on that keyboard actually. So the keyboard plugs in somewhere as well. Okay, so let's get the keyboard and associated boards put back into the upright. Also, let's work out roughly where this will go. So this is an earthing strap, which might go there, possibly, or some other way. Need to work that one out. So that way doesn't seem logical, so we'll need to work that one out. Put it to one side. But what we do know is that the keyboard its associated boards need to come back into play. So here's the keyboard. This board here is the keyboard controller with external AT input, and spurring off of that is the indicator light assembly, and then off of that is the cable that connects it presumably to the motherboard. And that would make sense because there is a nice connector on the motherboard and it's just right for my cable. And that connector is there. So keyboard, go in here, and let's actually make sure that that can be seen. So you can see the keyboard there going into the upper portion of the case. And looking at it, the keyboard actually just clips in. So there's a clip, and down at the bottom, another clip, and that's in place. Now we have indicator lights and keyboard controller circuitry itself. So, indicator lights in reset switch go into here. So I'll just pop that. Actually, I'll take it, disconnect it from there, so that'll make it a bit easier to wrestle it into place. There we go. We need a couple of suitably sized screws for that one, so I've got a couple here that I can use, which look suitable. Check that they are the correct kind of thread. Yep, they should do. So that is perfect. So that's it there. Good. And screw there. There we go. And then another screw down there. We'll use a similarly sized one. Right, here we go, and there we go. Right, that's that one. Now we need to connect that to the keyboard controller. The keyboard controller will go in like so. This will plug directly into here. There we go, keyboard, controller, there, and then off of the keyboard controller you've obviously got this cable. And a few more suitably sized screws to go into place. And worst case I can actually have a look through this one again. So I still have all the screws, it's just they're in these things where I put all of my loose screws for future use. And unfortunately, as I say, I was short-sighted with this because I'd never thought I'd be able to find another motherboard for it. I thought I was going to go down, what I thought I was actually going to do was I was going to save up a little bit of money, purchase a 10-inch screen in the 4:3 format, then pop in something like a Raspberry Pi and wire up the keyboard to this XT/AT to USB converter so that I could keep the keyboard, but I would have a more modern motherboard, much more modern machine, but I would keep the aesthetics of the old machine, and I would use the outputs from the power supply to power everything. And I was actually quite a long way down the line of sorting it. I hadn't purchased anything yet, but I'd worked out how everything was going to sit in, and I had an idea of how I wanted things to go. As it turns out, I didn't need to do any of that, so we're now here, effectively. So let's have a look at what we have. Is there anything else that I can utilise? Yes, there is. Plenty of things, in fact. Right, so we've got that. All of those, they're ready to go, I think. What else do we have? I think we have most things. We can certainly got enough to get started with it all anyway. So let's find another suitable screws for the keyboard thing. Hang on a minute, just realised that might actually be. That'll be fine. There we are. 2 for the bottom. So we need another 2 similarly sized screws. Move this over a touch. Need to make sure that it actually sits in place. At the moment I don't think that's sitting in place properly because the connector for an external keyboard goes in there. There we are. That's that one. We need one more up here. And nearly there. Done. Right. Right, so I just took a quick break. Back now, so we'll continue with what we were doing. So, we have these cables coming off of the monitor. Thankfully, they're different sizes. So, I can plug those into the graphics card quite easily. Again, because they are different sizes, there's a place for each cable, which is good. Oh, that one's a little bit bent pin wise. That will soon be sorted. And we have this one. Then we have this 4-pin here, which is missing. We have this, which is 5-pin, which, if I look at it, that goes to the power supply. So that plugs in here. So that's CN106. CN10 is the speaker. That's actually, sorry, that's CN103. That's the speaker. Got that one there, which is power supply for the hard drive. So that will go to there. Then got this 4-pin here, which I think goes to the graphics card, so that's power or something for the graphics card. I would assume that might be power because data is actually going through this connector here. So there we go, that's that. And we are missing, possibly missing, a connector for the graphics card, because there's a connector there, but I can't remember if that was ever connected. There is a possibility that might not have actually ever been connected. So that's something to bear in mind. And not necessarily something to worry about right at this moment. What I do need to do though is route some things around. So this one will come around, probably under here. Ultimately end up at the power supply. Actually, I'll try and do it so it's around behind it. There we go. There we go. Hard drive plugged in, power supply, there we go, that's hard drive's power supply. Speaker is in, so that can go and nestle down somewhere, cable wise, that sits on top there. We can go there. Then we have this one, which is the RAM and BIOS and CoPro board. So I'm actually using the one that's come off of my machine because it's loaded with RAM and it has a max coprocessor, which the other one does not. So let's see if we can screw things into place. A number of fairly stubby screws for this, I think. So it's the stubby screws that we are lacking. Hopefully I can make up the difference with some of the various screws I've collected. We should hopefully have something we can use. okay so far. That one, don't want to use that one. There we are. Oh, excuse me. Right, so this goes somewhere. And I think that's for the power supply, funnily enough. Because the floppy drive has got its own sort of plate that it sits on, so I think this one is for the power supply. And if I remember rightly, it goes like this. So it actually makes up part of a motherboard screw as well. So that sits like that. Pretty certain we're missing some of the cabling, you know. Hang on a minute, just realised that actually takes off the motherboard. So we don't need that, that's okay. We look at this motherboard as it sits in there. This one would go here, I think. No, it wouldn't. No, that would go on the power. No, that would go on the power supply actually. It goes on one of the output stages of the power supply. So, what goes into there? It's nothing to do with the floppy drive because that, I think, derives its power from this connector. Pretty certain I've got all the wiring. There wasn't any wiring left over, to be honest. Unless again that's a connector which we don't have or isn't used. We need to also work out where this goes, because this is a mystery, but I do know that this runs along to the power supply. The thing is, where does that run along to the power supply? How does it run along to the power supply? Does it go like this? No. 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 Yeah, so that's your power supply. That one goes into here on the power supply. That one goes into there. Then you have the other connector, which is for the battery. Floppy drive plugs in here. Goes, take that out, here, goes under power supply. And sits here. And this goes somewhere, I do not know where. Because I'm missing something on that side now. So, oh, hang on. There you go. There. Support is a bracket for the floppy drive. That means if I take this out, I can remove this connector. I can put this here, screw that into place, using something suitable. That's too fat, I think. We might do it. That's too fat. That one might work, but it might be too small. Let's see. No, that's just fine. So, there. Yeah. That one leave for the moment. Another screw for the other side. Remove power connector for the hard drive, and let's tease this one into place. There we go. There we go, so that's that one. So move the PSU out of the way. And check to see there's nothing under here we need to screw. So there's a big one there we need to put a screw in. So let's find a suitable screw. Nope, that's not a suitable screw. I guess it'll have to be now because that's just gone straight in there. So let's put this plating in place. So it'll go in like so, there. This actually goes over, pretty certain goes like this. So it's almost like a clamping mechanism, which I think goes over this board. There you go, like that. That's how it goes. That's how it's supposed to be. A few more screws for the motherboard. There we go. One for the other side. we go. Good show, I think. Is that good? That's not good. No, that's not good. Let's try that again. Try a different screw this time. This is like one of those Krypton factor puzzles. If you don't know what the Krypton factor is, I suggest you watch it. I've said this before. Essential viewing. If you've never seen it before, go for the Gordon Burns ones, they're the best. Later ones, not as good. They tried reviving it in the early 2000s, if I recall. And although it was okay, it was a shadow of its former self. I've said this before, I know. Groundhog conversations. There you go. Right. So, let's move that. Put that to one side. Real fiddle trying to get it in, you see. So you've got to get it in to a particular position. It's a very tight space to get it into. That's what she said. Sorry, smutty jokes. Not what this channel is about. If I wanted to do smutty jokes, I'd have to start off with start the whole intro with "Hi guys, James, your man James here, JCT's fascinating hobbies. Today we're going to be looking at a tight space." That's what she said. Ha 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 ha. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, don't forget to like and subscribe and smash that notification bell. Yeah. Yeah, that's not what this channel's about. Actually, whilst I'm at it, let's have a chat about channels that I enjoy. And I won't go into channels I don't enjoy because that's a personal preference. But channels I enjoy, again a personal preference, but it's positive rather than negative. Top of my list, Junkyard Digs. Absolutely bloody fantastic. Chap based in somewhere in America, I want to say Iowa, possibly, yeah, Iowa, that makes sense. And he does, he's only a young guy actually, sort of, he's in his 20s, and he does a lot of rescues of old American cars, which I personally think is absolutely brilliant. It's captivating viewing and well worth watching. Then there is a channel I discovered the other day called Nick's Garage, based in Canada, I think, and he's very into his Mopar stuff. So, you know, sort of Chrysler products, and he spends a lot of time fine-tuning Chrysler V8s from the various years. And watching his channel is most enjoyable because at the moment, I'll be honest with you, I'm trying to learn how to I'm trying to learn the fundamentals of tuning a carburettor and also tuning an engine without any kind of pre-done electronic ignition and electronic timing. It's a skill that I have read a lot about, but for various reasons I've never actually acquired that skill. I've got the theory, but I don't have the physical skill. So at some point I would like to have a go at that, to be honest with you. I think it'd be quite an interesting one to have a go with. What else is there? There is Techmoan, UK based channel, very popular. Some of his videos very good, some of them aren't really my thing, so I don't watch those particular videos, but anything that he does put on is pretty good. Very good production values, very high production values as well, so he makes this channel, my channel, look quite amateurish, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. But yeah, he's worked hard on his channel and it shows, so yeah, kudos to him. And he puts out content that people want to watch and that appeal to people that enjoy the sort of hobbies that obviously people watching my channel and people watching his channel also enjoy. It's also quite nice to see him getting more recently into doing teardowns and repairs. So he's actually now started getting the equipment, having a go at repairing it, and if it doesn't work, if the repair doesn't work, he'll show that as well. So it's something that I've been doing for a while, but it's nice to see sort of a much larger, more successful creator doing something similar. So it sort of almost validates what I'm doing. It makes me sort of feel that I'm probably doing something right. The thing is, I don't actively promote the channel, so I have a low, by comparison to others, subscriber count, but this is, at the end of the day, just a hobby. If people enjoy it, good. If people don't enjoy it, well, they can go and watch something else. There's plenty of choice out there. Who else is there? So there's Junkyard Digs, Nick's Garage, Techmoan. I'll say Harry's Garage because Harry Metcalf is a very enjoyable chap to watch. He's very well spoken, he's very good at what he does, and he's made a successful living out of what he does as well, so hats off to him. He's living a life that I can only dream of. He owns cars I can only dream of owning, and for that I applaud him. Good work. Who else is there? There is Regular Car Reviews. Very funny. He's got a sense of humour that is quite warped and somewhat sort of potty humour, somewhat sort of toilet humour in a way, but I've got to be honest, I like that. I mean, I come from sort of the time where the TV show Bottom was on, and I won't lie, that was one of my favourite shows on telly at the time. I used to watch it religiously. But also sort of things like Naked Video, if you remember Naked Video from the 80s. You know, all sort of humour that you would sort of potentially see as distasteful. That's what I like. And he does his own sort of unique brand of that humour, and he involves it with car reviews. He also has these sort of brilliant caricatures he does of the typical American car owner, which are brilliant to watch and quite amusing. So yeah, his channel is well worth a watch. Who else do I watch on a regular basis? Ah, yeah, Robot Cantina, a smaller channel, but the chap who runs it is he basically does a number of weird experiments with small engines and cars. So, for example, in one recent series, he effectively managed to get a Honda Insight to run on a small Harbour Freight purchased engine, Just realised if I put a plastic shield on this, I don't think I have. There isn't a plastic shield for that, so that's okay. The plastic shield goes over the top. Around here somewhere. I think it's here actually. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, he's managed to get this sort of little engine running, and he's managed to get, as he calls it, his street legal go-kart up to 70 miles an hour. His current project is with a Saturn. If you don't know, Saturn was an American car manufacturer. It was a brand of General Motors, and they were quite unique for their time, as they were doing something quite different and innovative. Their early examples all had plastic panels, so metal structure but plastic body panels, and they were sort of quite unique in the field in actually offering that kind of setup. But yeah, he's taken a Saturn and he is developing it to run with this sort of little 3-cylinder diesel engine. He's again sort of doing all the performance testing, trying to get it up to run at 70 miles an hour, all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, his channel again is another one that's well worth watching. And really, that is kind of it for the channels that I watch on a regular basis. I don't really, don't really sort of subscribe to any of the others. I mean, there are popular UK-based automotive YouTubers, but it's just not my thing. Just don't really sort of want to watch, which is, my choice. Fair enough. You can't cater for everyone, and if you could, you would have a winner on your hands ultimately. Alright, anyway, back to this. So, after all of my waffling, you've probably seen me sort of get a fair distance of actually getting everything plumbed into place. So we've got the floppy drive coming on board, we've got the power supply in place. We're now in the process of just buttoning everything down, getting everything dialed in. Oh, how can I forget? Unfortunately, it's no longer free, but Roadkill from the Motor Trend channel, absolutely brilliant. Again, a couple of American guys playing around with old American muscle cars and various other things, and coming up with a whole wealth of interesting and bonkers inventions. Again, well worth watching and very enjoyable to watch as well. David Freiberger, one of the guys off the channel, is a bit of a genius in his field, and as is another chap who was on the channel as well, a chap called Mike Finnegan. He's another sort of bit of a legend in their respective fields, and they have their own separate channels, which I tend to watch sometimes actually. Mike Finnegan's channel is pretty good. Oh god, and how could I forget? Matt's Off-Road Rescue, and his son, who's got his own channel, Rudy Design and Adventure. So Matt's Off-Road Recovery. It's basically a channel. Guy's based in, I think, Hurricane in Utah, and he makes a living out of rescuing people who've been stranded at various places around where he lives. But he also sort of ventures into Arizona and surrounding states as well, so it's not just limited to Utah. He's really all over the place. But if you do get the chance, his channel is well worth a watch. It's pretty entertaining what he does, and he's also very good at it. Good at what he does as well. I think that's all of them actually, as in channels which I watch on a regular basis. I'm just trying to find a few more screws because I am missing a few suitably sized screws. but I'm at a position where this is mostly back together, but I am missing a number of vital screws, including the case screws, so yes, that's going to be interesting. And I think that might actually be too fat for that. Let's try this one. No, not that one. Try this one. So we'll make sure that the power supply is in properly. There we go. So that's in, that's connected. That's all plumbed in place. Only thing that's not plumbed in place is the graphics card itself, because that doesn't have any screws in it. So let's sort that out quickly. There you go. That one. This one. And I'm using screws which are from a much newer device, but ultimately they should do the job, I suppose. Stay like that. I think we're at a position where we can try connecting some power to this and see what it does. Let's try and work out how this goes on first. So we want to have some kind of modicum of protection from the bitiness of the PSU, the potential bitiness. I think it is this way, you know. Going to be fun. That's just a whole mash of cables. I need to sort that out when I come to reassemble this properly. But that's not a job for today. The main purpose of today, focus, is to see if this actually works and powers on. There we go. That's loosely in place. Here goes absolutely nothing. I will borrow my power cable from my iMac, bring that around, spin this around, make sure that we're powered off at the moment, which we are, pop that in. Here goes absolutely nothing. Didn't do that previously. Holy moly! It's actually set at the moment for 1 megabyte. That's the jumper settings on the board itself. But yes, do 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 do, badoof. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. Terrible song. Do, 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 Doopy doopy doo. What type of floppy drive have we got? It's not a 5 1/4 inch, it is a 3.5 inch. Doo 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 doo. What type of hard drive have we got? It's probably one of these, but I don't know which. I need to check the hard drive itself. Doo 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 doo. I can actually check the hard drive by lifting this up. Carefully does it. No, I can't because the power cable's connected. Display. VGA. EGA. RAM. Not there, obviously. What size is this hard drive? So basically, you had, with these older drives, you had types that you could select. And I can't remember what the type was for this one. So I need to power it off and just grab the type off of it. But yes, it works. That does actually work. That's quite astonishing. I'd completely written this off, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. But here we are, and it seems to be working. I am rather chuffed. Right, let's power this off. Let's do this. Right, hard drive might have a type on it. If it doesn't, it will have information about the number of cylinders and other things. So, there's a 170 meg drive, so it's got 903 cylinders, 8 heads, 48 sectors, and there's 170 meg, so we know that much, that's good. The power supply is working, and working well, that's also another good thing. Graphics is working, it's finding the RAM, so that's good. Let's see if I can get this on a bit better than I'd had previously and see why that wasn't going on properly. So I do need to do a bit of cable management with this, just to get it so that it sits properly and it all goes back in properly. But initially, I think this is pretty good. So I don't know if you can see this. I'll just angle this down a moment. But on the back, here, there's a selection of jumpers. Those jumpers you need to switch to determine how much RAM has been installed in the machine. In my case, we've got 4 meg, so we need to accommodate that by using those jumpers. And part of the problem is that's bent out of shape. So, there. I used to work with someone that kept telling me that I was getting bent out of shape over something. But yeah, that was many years ago. Here, James, you don't need to get bent out of shape over it. That's pretty much what it was. Right then, yeah. Yeah, okay then. I won't get bent out of shape, don't worry. Yeah, interesting. Interesting people that you meet on the journey. He was alright, actually. Just he had his little sort of phrases, and one of them was that. But as far as bosses go, he was pretty good, actually. He's he's what a boss should be. He's very accommodating that people have lives outside of work, and you know, they may have challenges outside of work as well that can't always be focused on work. So yeah, I take the piss slightly, but nah, he was alright on the whole. Right, how are we doing? Yeah, I do need to do something about all that cabling, but for the minute it is a case of seeing if it works. So I need to run the setup program, so we'll do an F2 when that comes in. There we go. And we'll do an enter. I'll just focus on the screen a second. So now, because we've got no BIOS battery, I'll need to set this up each time. So we need 623 cylinders, 8 heads, pre of 0. Don't think we have a default type in here for that. Or is it? No, it's 923 cylinders. That's 823. It's 925. Can I select my own? I thought there was a way you could actually select your own. Sure there was. Oh, sure there was a way you could do it. Let's wait for the F2 to come up. Yeah, look at that. Coprocessor 80387, so it recognises the Copro. That's good. Oops. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and not installed. So, is there a way I can do it myself? Annoyingly, there isn't. Oh, hang on. What did I press to do that? Nine, 2, 3. So 9, 2, 3. Ah, down arrow. Right, 92380 landing zone 0 sectors. Ah, I didn't pay attention. Right. 903 cylinders, 8 heads, 46 sectors. "903 cylinders, 8 heads, 46 sectors." Right. Come on. Right then. 903 cylinders. 903 cylinders. 903 cylinders. 8 heads. Do 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 do. 48 sectors. Do 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 do. Right, see what that does. Actually, let's check it has taken 8 heads, landing zone, 48 sectors, or is it 46 sectors? That's 46. That's 46 to 48. "46 pre-comp 0 903 cylinders." Yeah, that's correct. 903 46 8. Set up program. Okay, so 903 46 8. Yeah, that is right. So 46 8. Display. VGA. CPU speed fast. And F10. My hard drive still works. Winaroo! Might not run because there's not enough RAM, but who knows? Well, that's a good start. Yay! Haha! Brilliant! She works, she lives. All I need to do now, and I'll do this off camera, is just pull the screws back properly, get the cable management sorted out, and we are good. What a revelation, what a restoration. Very pleased, very happy. Also need to sort out the jumpers for the RAM as well, so it's registering the correct amount of RAM. Otherwise it won't be running at optimum performance. With its 4 meg of RAM and its 387, I'll sure do some number crunching with this in some really old version of Excel. But that's fantastic. That is really good. I cannot really convey how pleased I am. I'd written this off as fit for the bin, and here it is, running a treat again, living, doing what it was supposed to do, and it should hopefully go on for quite a bit longer. with that recapped power supply, with no battery on the motherboard. But really pleased. I cannot convey just how pleased I am. Probably see my hang on a minute. You probably see my face just to see how pleased I am. So yeah, that's how pleased I am. But yeah, absolutely over the moon. So I hope you've enjoyed this journey. We might see this again. I'll probably do something with it at some point, but for now I'm just going to enjoy the fact that it's working. Anyway, if you have liked this video, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll speak to you again soon. Take care, and thank you for watching.